Send in your views on or before December 10th.
An interview with the mini Ponzi schemer who pocketed $400 million.
The more you showed people you didn't need money, the easier it was to attract money.
And Jimmy Carter talks about his new book. Xinyi Low E-Glass presents 60 Minutes, Thursday night at 9.
Xinyi Low E-Glass presents 60 Minutes is brought to you by Xinyi Glass, the curtain wall glass supplier to the China Pavilion and Expo 2010 Shanghai, China.
On this episode, Travelog takes you to Gannan, home to the Tibetan ethnic minority and known to travelers as the Switzerland of the East. Marvel at monasteries and learn about traditional Tibetan customs like sky burial. Why not soak up the spirit of the people and be entertained by their love for music and dance? And we'll be exploring an important lake along the path of the yearly pilgrimage for the Tibetan people.
In the last episode, we traveled from Langzhou to Xiahe to Hezhuo, before ending up at Gahai Lake. Join us now as we continue our travels in Gannan, starting off in a small town tucked away in a valley that was once unknown to travelers.
Lammasu is a small town in Gannan, the southern part of the Gansu province. It's home to the Tibetan ethnic minority and known to travelers as the Switzerland of the East. This is where we'll be continuing our adventures of Gannan. Welcome to Travelog, I'm Michelle Lean.
Lammasu is a great place for independent travelers seeking an escape from the mass tour groups that flock to China's more popular and developed tourist destinations. It's largely unknown to most tourists, but it's not really remote enough to be called off the beaten track. Well, not nowadays anyway. Some years ago, this sleepy town, located 3,300 meters above sea level, was discovered by a group of foreign backpackers. They traveled back home with stories of chancing upon the Switzerland of the East, based on the similarities between the red rock cleft they'd found here and a mountain in Switzerland. And that's how the small town of the Han, Hui, and Tibetan ethnic groups became a stop for backpackers traveling within the Sichuan and Gansu regions. The town's name Lammasu can be a little misleading. Si is Chinese for temple, so you'd assume that you'd be visiting a Langmu temple. Instead, the town has a mosque and 2 Buddhist monasteries, quite a lot for somewhere so small. In fact, it's so small here that there's only one main street in town, so chances are, if you get lost, it won't take long to find your way back. Surrounding the town, you'll find the vast grassland areas of northwestern Sichuan and southern Gansu. There are 2 major cultural influences here: nomadic life and Tibetan Buddhism.
In Lammasu town, you'll find 2 of the same monasteries, except that one is located in the Gansu province where I'm standing, and the other one is right across there in the Sichuan province.
The locals refer to their two monasteries as the Gansu Monastery and the Sichuan Monastery. Officially, though, the Sichuan Monastery is called the Gerding Monastery and the Gansu Monastery is the Seji Monastery. Although the two are located in the same town and they're just a 5-minute walk away from each other, you'll find a great deal of differences in the architectural styles influenced by their respective provinces. Langmusi is, as far as I know, the only place where you can view a traditional Tibetan sky burial freely without an invitation. Though, be warned, this is not something for the faint-hearted. In Tibetan Buddhism, it's believed that when a person dies, their body becomes an empty vessel. In the high altitude and rocky regions of Tibet, their sky burial is a person's last good deed, a gift to nature and a contribution to the cycle of life. The deceased is left untouched for 3 days while monks chant prayers for his or her soul. After the 3 days, the body is wrapped in a white cloth and taken to the sky burial ground. There, it is dissected into 100 pieces, and juniper incense is lit to invite vultures, known as dakinis, which are the Tibetan equivalent of angels, to feed. It's said that the vultures carry the person's soul to the heavens, and it's a very bad omen if the vultures refuse to feed on or leave any piece untouched, because that symbolizes the bad deeds a person has committed in his life.
是什么？是这边就是我们藏族人举行葬礼的仪式的地方。就把人的尸体从这个道拉到那个地方，然后要大卸8块，小卸108块，然后为。
Before I arrived in Langmusi, I'd heard of the sky burial ritual, and on an intellectual level, I was able to understand, respect, and even appreciate the custom. It's a very practical form of burial in the rocky and mountainous terrain of Tibet itself and the Tibetan autonomous regions, where ground burials and cremations due to the lack of wood would be close to impossible. I think it's a beautiful idea, giving back to the earth by feeding another of nature's creatures, although admittedly, it can be rather morbid too. There's a place in town that arranges hiking and horse riding trips. These last from 1 to 5 days, and you'll be given the chance to experience life as a Tibetan nomad. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time, but I'll be back soon just for this.
Yes, like how long does it take and stuff?
I have 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and a special trip for 5 days.
Okay, so where are the routes and stuff? Where does it take you?
Okay, so on this map, if only for 1 day, this is the town where we stay, and we're going along the White Dragon River to get the south area. We will have lunch here in local people's tent, the nomad's tent. Come back the same way. This is for 1 day. And for 2 days from here, we're going along the White Dragon River, have lunch here, then go ahead to this place where is summer grassland where the people stay now. So we will stay here with the local family in a nomad people's tent. So for the second morning, first you have time to join the local people's daily work, like milking, making butter, herding, or if you want, you can have a trial by yourself. The guide can help you.
Okay,
and
as in milk the yak.
Yeah, sure. And the next day, from here, we go the Flower Ocean, then go the upway back to Langmusi. And this is a flat and wide grassland with some streams inside. Right. In the summertime, all these places is full of the flowers, wildflowers. Okay, so we give the name to it.
Oh, so you call it the Flower Ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is for 2 days.
Walking around town, you'll find many quaint stores where you can grab a cup of coffee or buy some local souvenirs. But I was told to check out Amdo's Cafe because here you'll be able to see locals making the actual handicrafts.
Over the past 8 years, Amdo's Cafe, also known as Amdo's Cafe and Crafts, has been working with the Tibetan nomads to produce and sell woven bags, braided slings, knitted scarves, socks, and felt decorations, all using materials available locally. The money they earn helps to provide for basic needs, such as the children's education. It's their way of helping the Tibetan nomad community help themselves and a way to teach foreigners about traditional Tibetan handicrafts. Such is the success of Amdo's crafts that the younger generations are starting to learn the traditional skills as a way of preserving their culture and earning a little pocket money on the side. I think it's a really great idea because on the one hand, it gives the woman a side income, a sense of independence and empowerment, and on the other, people from around the world can enjoy these beautiful handmade products. So everyone wins. Aside from the local handicrafts, you'll find restaurants in town that serve authentic Tibetan cuisine, none of that watered-down for tourists-only stuff. Try the sampa, a staple food of the Tibetan ethnic group. It's not really my thing, but you can't leave without trying it. It'd be like visiting Italy and leaving without sampling the pasta. However, if you tire of eating the same type of cuisine all the time, there's a famous restaurant in town that serves Western food with a local twist.
I'm from Canada, but I'm working in Shanghai right now.
Okay, what do you do in Shanghai?
At an international school.
How did you hear about Lamusu?
I wanted to do a bike trip somewhere in China this summer.
Right.
And I was trying to pick out a place. So this friend of mine recommended Shahe as being a really unusual, one-of-a-kind place to visit. Yeah. He'd been there 15 years ago.
Okay. So I was told that if you come to Lamusu, there's one restaurant that you have to try, and it's called Lisha's Restaurant. And the owner who started it basically started as a, Chinese restaurant, but he had a lot of foreigners come here. So he was like, okay, well, why don't you come to my home, cook whatever you like. And he ended up learning how to make apple pie, which is what this place is famous for. So when you come here, you definitely have to try the apple pie. But for now, I'm not sharing, so too bad. Very good.
Lamusu is small, but this is very much part of its appeal to independent travelers. There's a real sense of community here, and even if you're here only for a day, you'll meet fellow travelers and locals willing to show you their culture.
Usually to get into a Tibetan ethnic minority costume, you just do it on your own. It's like taking 3 people to get me into this. It's really tight. Can't breathe.
为什么要必须是没有的？它有2个原因。第一个原因就是这边的气候温差的原因。OK。热的时候就抹掉，然后冷的时候就套上。一个是因为就是这边劳动啊等等要用右手来干活嘛。
但是如果你用左手的啦。
左手一般我们干活呀，都是先用右手呀，吃饭，比如吃饭啊等等的，不方便，因为这袖口太大了，不方便。
So apparently, the reason why you have it off the shoulder is because when it's cold, you can put both sleeves on, and when it's warm, you just take one off. And the other reason is if you go out in the farms and stuff, it's more convenient if you have your sleeve off, so you can, do some manual labor. Well, I don't really need to do any manual labor, but hey, why not? Looks good, huh? Not bad? Good? Good? Good. 喜欢。哎，这里往里能放东西的是吗？
对，放东西。
什么都可以放。Oh, apparently inside here, right here, you can like stick stuff in. So he's got his hat inside right now.
不要了。
不要。See, it's convenient.
行吧。 OK 吗？
OK。
像藏族人吗？
哎，像。
What do you reckon? Does he look Tibetan?
还挺有。
After dinner, Baima, a Tibetan girl I'd met earlier in the day, invited me to a local gathering.
This is the most complicated thing I've done so far. And I feel like I have 2 left feet. Okay. So now I go forward.
1、2、3。1、2、1。
Okay. I'm so hopeless. Turn. Up. Down. I think. Oh, turn again. Whew. This is tiring stuff. I'll tell you that.
told me that the Tibetan people love music and dance, and here in Langmusu, they gather in courtyards almost every night to dance. And to make the experience even more special, she's arranged for a couple of her friends to dress me in a traditional Tibetan costume. Though I'm not sure I'll quite look the part now that I've cut my hair short, because all the women here have such beautiful long hair. That was really fun. It's one of the most tiring things. I can't even speak properly now. It's one of the most tiring things I've done the whole trip. But after a couple of rounds, you kind of get the hang of it. 还会跳吗？会。Okay. And then Joanne. Oh no. Is that the right finger? You can sit at home and listen to me talk about Tibetan dance, or you could pack your things, come here, and experience it for yourself. More than just fun, you get a unique insight into the culture by learning the dance techniques.
Stand firm. Knock drugs out.
I've had a really good time here, and part of me is begging to stay. But no such luck. Driving away from Langmusu, we pass an area where we can catch a glimpse of the Yellow River. It's 3,902 meters above sea level here, so we're all feeling a little short of breath. Not to mention the fact that it's freezing. The wind is howling and it takes some effort to stand upright. Yes, it's still July, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Up here, we bump into a monk who appears to be burning something. I'm not quite sure what it is, so I figured I'd go and chat to him. Turns out he mostly speaks Tibetan and very little Mandarin, so we did have a bit of a communication problem. But from what I saw, it seemed as though he was conducting some sort of ritual, which I later found out is called Weisang, and is traditionally performed every time a Tibetan passes through an opening in a mountain. First, juniper incense powder, that's the powder the monk was shaking over the fire, is burnt along with an aromatic plant such as cypress, just to please the gods. While the fire burns, prayers will be chanted, and finally, a longda, otherwise known as a fortune horse or paper horse, will be thrown in the air. It's a little piece of paper about 2 inches wide and 4 inches long, with a woodblock print of a horse on it. The Tibetan people have great respect and worship for horses, so throwing longda in the air and letting the wind catch them and carry them away is a symbol of a team of horses running free. It's said that throwing longda from a sacred or high mountain will convey human wishes to the gods. From Machi in the south, we travel up towards Jagannath in the northeast. And on the way, I noticed significant changes in the people's way of life. In the south, there's a heavy reliance on livestock, but driving north, you'll see more farmers. Some of these areas are so remote that they never see any tourists at all. And I think I've been very lucky on this trip because I've bumped into some great people along the way. This group of women tell me that they're heading to the next mountain to collect wood.
你们去哪？回家？家？谁？家？
I ask if I can follow them, but they tell me that the journey won't be too tough for me. Still, they have promised to show me around the next time I visit. I take a photo so I won't forget their faces. Ladies, I'm holding you to your word. I'll see you soon. Jagannath is located in Daegu County. In Tibetan, Jagannath means stone city or stone box, and it's named after the stone forest and the handicrafts for which the area is famous. It's also a famous research area for foreign geologists and scientists. In Gannan, you should expect quite a few hours in the car traveling between destinations, as they're often far apart. And now, while you might be tempted to use the opportunity to take a nap, I suggest you stay awake because it'd be a real pity to miss the amazing scenery along the way. The change in scenery from Jagannath to Joni is quite noticeable as it goes from farmland to forest areas. The Daegu National Park is worth a short visit. Many of the areas within the park have yet to be opened up to the public, but you can take an easy walk down the main route. Or if you're feeling a little lazy like I am, you can catch a ride on the shuttle buggies. The elevation above sea level varies between 2,500 and 4,920 meters here. And the locals tell me that in early September, you'll be able to experience all 4 seasons. It'll be snowing in the higher regions and warm in the lower area of the national park.
Even if you're not much of a hiker, you can still come here and enjoy this really easy walk around the park. It's beautiful. I'll tell you this, the scenery is absolutely amazing.
Every once in a while, you deserve an escape to nature. But the mountains here are more than just scenic. Joni is number 3 on the list of places famous for producing the inkstones that are used in Chinese calligraphy, after the Duangxi Mountains in Guangdong and the Shi County in Anhui. The stones here are known as taoyuan. Beautiful and smooth, they come from the mountains in the surrounding areas. Invented by the Chinese over 1,200 years ago, inkstones are highly prized and have great cultural significance in China. In the past, scholars would transport their ink in solid forms, and when they wanted to use it, they'd grind it in water on an ink slab to the correct consistency.
师傅，为什么陶砚在中国怎么出名的？
以这个石料好，色彩也好。最重要就是说这个石头发描快。 磨起来快，石头也是，比较珍贵。
是不是颜色不一样？
颜色也不一样，颜色不要用不一样的颜色，来做不一样的花。
但是每一块是谁设计的？
就是自己有自己的设计方法，自己有不同的设计，出来就是不同的作品。
哦。
Who would have thought that a rock, just, a big slab of rock, could make something so beautiful?
Okay, note to self, stop mentally calculating how to haul a 10-kilogram inkstone home while telling people about them. While I'm unable to appreciate the inkstone as a calligraphy tool, I'm amazed by the beautiful and highly skilled carvings of symbols in Han Chinese culture and how the natural colors of the stone are incorporated into the carving. We leave Joni and head to Yeliguan, our last stop in Gannan. And I realized that on this journey, we've been very lucky to have met some really interesting fellow travelers. This group here have come all the way from Guangdong to enjoy the scenery and their little shared quirk, singing in places with beautiful scenery. They've been joined by other travelers, and it's fascinating watching these groups of strangers share the experience of being in Gannan together. I don't know any of the songs, but I'm happy to sit here and just listen to them. There's a lake in Yeliguan, not much different from any other high-altitude lake around the world. But it's an important stop in the yearly pilgrimage for the Tibetan people traveling from Gansu to Tibet Autonomous Region. We met a family who had walked all the way from Hetuo just to pay their respects to the gods. They tell me that they've come here to throw tobao, brightly wrapped packages of rice, barley, and other offerings into the water as a way of honoring the water gods and earning some good luck. Tibetan people are extremely pious and will go to great lengths to visit monasteries and other places of worship, no matter how hard the road is. I truly admire their devotion and their dedication in happily performing their many rituals. The love that they have for their religion is a pure and untainted belief, far removed from the materialism and excesses of the modern world. I can't help but feel a little guilty for the life I lead in the city. But I'm told that a pure heart and good karma can be enough. That's certainly reassuring.
Every day in Gannan is something special. You see either magnificent scenery or you bump into people. I could tell you all about it, but really it's just something you have to experience for yourself. Thanks for watching Travelog. I'm Michelle Lane.